What is going on, guys? We have two new Storm releases that just got announced yesterday, and apologies for not having a video up right when they got announced. There was no info anywhere on these balls, but info has been released. We are good to go. So we're going to be covering every single ball that just got announced. We have the 900 Global Sublime Focus. It's going to be a solid symmetrical Sublime. We also have the really unique one of the Storm Ion Max. So the Storm Ion Max is going to be an asymmetrical solid, very different bowling ball, but we're going to get into that. For anyone who didn't see, on Thursday, what was that, 8/29, there was a live stream that Storm posted, and they explained everything they could about the Ion Max. If you want to hear their words on the Ion Max, make sure to go check that out. It's like 2 hours or something. It's a little bit long. I'll try to be able to give you the cliff notes of it, and we should be able to go from there. Hopefully this gives you as much info as you need before their release date on, do they release it anywhere? I don't know if they announced the release date yet. They must have. September 20th. So we're only 3-ish weeks away already. So coming up pretty quick. Staffers should have these balls soon. I know there's a couple people that have posted videos on it. Malia Briggs had a video. Go check her out. I think she's the only one who has a video on this. We're going to try to be one of the first, but let's get into it. Let's get into the pink ball. Let's get into the Storm Ion Max. So the Ion Max is not a solid Ion Pro. So for anyone who has been living under a rock in the bowling world lately, the Ion Pro was Storm's most hyped up bowling ball that I've seen the last couple years. It is a ball that fits between the Phase 2 and the IQ Tour. It is a hybrid bowling ball. It has a very weak asymmetrical core. Think like the old Rubicon from Rotogrip. But the Ion Max is a little bit weird because it does not have the same core. So as it mentions, the Ion Max takes performance to the next level on heavy oil patterns with over 50% more flare potential. What does that mean? They changed the core. It isn't an Ion core anymore. They added a couple pieces to it. So I have the Ion Pro here for comparison. The Ion Pro had an RG of 247, differential of 035, and then an intermediate differential of 014. The Ion Max has a 247, 055, 014. So that is an entire 0.020 differential difference. That is massive in bowling. That goes from IQ Tour to a pretty strong asymmetrical ball, or a very strong symmetrical ball even. This ball is going to be hefty, and it is going to not match very well with the Ion. I know in the live stream they talked about that, hey, these are going to be a great 1-2 punch, but there's going to be like 2 slots of bowling balls that fit between the Ion Max and the Ion Pro. So the Ion Max is going to be super strong asim because along with this, unfortunately, Storm has very little on their website. They didn't post this on their website right when they announced it, which was weird marketing, but you do you. It has NRG Solid. And I had to look, when was the last time we saw NRG Solid? NRG Solid hasn't been on a stateside bowling ball. Let me zoom in quick. Since the High Road Nano back in December of 2017. Now, there is a reason. So the reason is we had an NEX get released. NEX was a cover stock called Nano Extreme. It was supposed to be stronger than NRG. Things that had that was like the, I believe the Axiom, the Proton Physics, balls like that. A lot of bigger asymmetrical solid balls. Actually, that's where REX came from. REX, which was on the Infinite Physics, the Dark Code, what was the Night Road, I think it was on. There's a lot of balls that had REX, which was an evolution from NEX. So NRG is really the grandfather of a lot of cover stocks that Storm uses right now. And right now, if we look at it, yeah, the High Road Nano was the last time we saw it. Before that, it was on the IQ Tour Nano, which was a lot of people's favorites. Very similar vibe with this IQ Tour Nano if they would have kept the original Ion Pro cover or core in it. Before that, there was like Marvel S, Vivid, Virtual Gravity Nano is where it first came out on back in 2011. Yeesh. So NRG Solid, in general, very slow, very strong cover stock. It's going to be one of the strongest cover stocks that Storm has right now. So what is unique about this ball? It's just going to be a hook monster. Now, I haven't looked. Let's go to Storm Bowling Balls. Okay, the DNA is not on here anymore. I don't know when that got discontinued, but this is going to be the new hook monster from Storm. So the DNA originally was, now we're on to the Ion series. The Ion Max is going to be the new hook monster. This is going to be the asymmetrical solid ball that Storm fans wanted. Now, to compare it to different bowling balls in the line, if we go to, we'll go all, and we'll go to, let's see, asym, and we're going to go solids. There's a couple out there. Where does the Ion Max fit with these 6 balls? So, in my opinion, the Gem is still by far and away the earliest and the smoothest. The Ion Max is not going to compete against that. The Gem core and cover are still stronger than both NRG and that new Ion Max cover. The Harsh Reality is going to be right behind it. I could see this being about a step below a Harsh Reality. I don't think it's going to be as strong as a Harsh, but I think it's going to be up there. It's going to be very, very strong. If we look at the core numbers of the Harsh Reality, it has 248, 054, 019 versus 247, 055, 014. So for anyone who doesn't know core numbers, that means the Ion is a little bit weaker of a core. Now, compared to the other balls, the Absolute Power acts like a symmetrical ball, so that we're going to throw out. And the XL is like a weaker asym. So I think the Ion Max is going to be a more usable asymmetrical solid for you. So if you don't want something that is like top of the top ball in your bag, like Gem or Harsh Reality, this is going to be the next best option. I have a feeling this is going to replace the Eternity Pie. It's kind of what the Eternity Pie wanted to be. Because the way they talked about it last night on the live stream is this ball is supposed to basically be a proton physics. Now the colorway makes it look like that, where it's going to be early, but it's still going to be pretty dynamic. So I think that's where the Ion Max is going to fit. It's going to be that strongest of the strong. Not strongest of the strong, a step below strongest of the strong. So do you need an Ion Max in your bag if you have a Gem or a Harsh? Probably not, unless you are highly speed dominant and you really want stuff that hooks. That could work. This ball might look good with polish. I don't really know. We're not sure yet. We'll see when it gets released. But in general, I don't think you need an Ion with a Gem or a Harsh or an Eternity Pie. But if you do need a new update on your Gem or your Harsh or your Eternity Pie, because they've all been out for quite a while, Ion is going to be your play. Ion's going to be the best play. Now, this is going to be probably very expensive ball, probably top of the top line. It is in the Premier line, which is where the Absolute Power also is, which was very expensive. So I'm going to guess, well, we'll do some research here. Let's see. Storm, Absolute Power. Let's see. Bowler's Mart has it. I'm seeing 205 on Amazon. Bowler's Mart, it's only 165 right now? Huh. They must be on super sale. They must be getting rid of the Absolute Power soon. Pick up your Absolute Powers if you haven't. I bet they're getting rid of it. But I'm guessing it's going to be top of the top. So that is the Ion Max. It's going to be big, strong, slow. It's going to be great for longer patterns, great for heavy oil patterns. If you follow the channel, this is going to be in the middle of the strong and smooth category. Like I said, not as strong as a Gem or a Harsh Reality, but it's going to not be as weak as an XL or an Absolute Power. So that is everything about the Ion Max. Let's jump over to the ball that was not as hyped up, kind of a sneaky drop with the Ion Max, the Sublime Focus. So the 900 Global Sublime Focus is a solid version of the Sublime. There really isn't anything too crazy with it, like the Ion where they changed the core and the cover. Sublime Focus is still just the Sublime core with a new cover stock. So there isn't really, we can ignore this part, AI technology, yada, yada. Core number, exact same, 247056, super, super strong core, super highly, highly strong. The RG is low, the differential is high. That means it's going to flare a bunch and be very early. So the immersed symmetrical AI core, lovely, lovely. And unfortunately, they have like no info on the cover stock because this is the first time we've seen Reserve Blend 804 solid cover stock. This is actually the first time we've seen a solid symmetrical ball that's like stronger from 900 Global since the Zen Master from 21, maybe 22 at latest. So this is a first for a while for them. It really doesn't tell us anything useful. We created a new shell that can be used on nearly every lane condition. Thanks, Storm. Really appreciate that. But my guess, 804, usually when they go up on the numbers, it usually means a little more strength or just an update. This is just going to be slow and big. Now, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. The colorway is pretty cool, actually, but this really like butts heads with the Optimum Idol. This is very similar to the Optimum. So I do have the original Sublime here just to showcase. This had 802 hybrid. Now it's going to have 804 solid. So it is going to be a slightly weaker hybrid ball. The OG was compared to the Focus. But let's go to Rotogrip quick. Let's hit up the Optimum Idol solid. So explore the game. I've never seen that before. They are the exact same core numbers. Different core shapes, exact same core numbers. It's going to be very interesting. So I have a bad feeling that this is going to butt heads with the Optimum Idol, and you're going to have to pick one or the other. So if you already have an Optimum Idol, don't even look at the Sublime Focus, unfortunately, because they are exact same core numbers, very similar cover stocks. Now, are they going to be the same cover stock? Not exactly, but they're going to be very close, which is interesting. So why did they come out with another solid symmetrical ball? I really don't know. There are a lot of them in the line right now. So if we look at their lovely website, I do love their website with being able to just throw on nice little, throw on a bunch of little filters. So let's look at their solid symmetrics right now. Summit Ascent, that's super weak. Urethane. Phase 2, this is going to be very similar to a Phase 2. Now, is it going to be the same? No, this is probably going to be a little bit stronger, kind of like the Optimum Idol is a little bit stronger than the Phase 2. So the Sublime Focus should fit right above it. IQ Tour we don't care about, that's super weak. Urethane, there's the Optimum. We have a couple Hustles, and then Sublime Focus. So there's going to be 3 strong symmetrical solid balls. 3 very strong symmetrical solid balls. I don't know how they're going to play together. So we know the Phase 2 and the Optimum don't play the best together. The Phase 2 is pretty close. I usually don't recommend that you have both. I personally have both, but it's because my Optimum is so smooth. So smooth. So yeah, my biggest worry is just how are all of these going to fit together? And I don't think they will. I have a feeling that one of them is going to get booted. I don't really know which. I hope it's not the Phase 2, but this makes it look like they want to get rid of the Phase 2. I don't think they will. I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Now, I will always go back to it until they start dropping some stuff, but there is such a, well, let's get rid of the solids on here. There is such a big gap now in the shiny balls. We don't really have much. We have all the mixes. We have an Optimum. We have the Exponent Pearl yet. We have the Summit Peak. We have the Lightning. That's it, and the Ruby. So there's a big gap in shiny balls that we still don't have that a Zen would look great in, but we haven't had a Zen announcement yet, which is unfortunate. A lot of people were really hoping for a Zen announcement. It did not come, but these are what the 2 new balls are. We have 2 very strong solid bowling balls. Do you need them for League? I don't think so. I think you want more manageable, versatile pieces for League compared to these. These are absolutely hook monsters. Now, if you're a sport shot guy getting ready for the tournament season, I think these could be really good. I think these could be very, very good. I think the Sublime Focus could be a really good first ball out of your bag as a rev dominant or a no thumb player. I think it could be like absolute top of the bag. The Ion Max could be great for more speed dominant guys or guys who play on a ton of oil. So on the live stream, they did have Chris Vi throwing on, I think it was last year's master pattern or 2 years ago, where it was 47 feet, virtually flat. So you had to play the gutter. This thing looked awesome. This thing looked fantastic. I could see this ball being really good on those longer patterns, on the patterns where you have just a ton of oil and you've got to play, you need something really slow and chuggy. I think that's what it's going to be great for. If you want to throw these in League, they're going to be great for game 1 and for the cliff. These are going to look fantastic on a cliff because the cores are so strong on both of them that if you miss right, the ball's not going to overhook. If you miss left, it's still going to hook in the oil. So that is where these 2 are going to be best for, but we will have more videos coming out when more staffers start throwing these balls and when they get fully released. If I hear more, I will let everybody here know about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions about either ball, leave them down in the comments. I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video and want to see more bowling content. Thank you so much.